Hi, I'm dolikisse and welcome to the Bad Cats Club, where it is all about Silent Hill. In this series I'll be talking about all the facts and rumors about the upcoming game, but also keeping our impatience at bay by looking at the PT trailer in depth, talking about different theories and interpretations. And when I say in depth, I mean right up to the brink of insanity. For you that don't know, I'm a huge Silent Hill fangirl. It's almost as bad as my Final Fantasy fetish, but let's start with a recap. Silent Hills, or Silent Hill S as it is also called, was first revealed August 14th, 2014 by Sony revealing a very cryptic trailer called PT by a developer called 7780 Studio. Now, 7780 Studio wasn't a real studio, and the name 7780 turned out being a reference to the size of a place in Japan that's named Shizuoka, which in Japanese sounds a lot like Silent Hill. Unlike most Silent Hill games, PT is played entirely in first person. The play goes through a long looping hallway, where each loop is slightly different, and you have to interact with the environment in order to solve the puzzle and progress. In this hallway you are stalked by a ghost called Lisa, who at certain times and certain places can kill you, but mostly just fucks with your head. And apart from that, you have other ghosts, a moving lunch bag, and a talking fetus. It's all very Silent Hilly. And after completing the trailer, which I could not do without a guide, you see a guy walking down a street in Silent Hill, and then very slowly you see him turn around, revealing Norman Reedus, and also revealing that it's a Silent Hill trailer. Now, why is it called Silent Hills and not Silent Hill? There are a few theories about that. The first one I heard was that it's so scary that it's horror plural. So that's why there's an S at the end. That doesn't sound very Hideo Kojima to me, so I don't really buy that one. The second one is that the S kind of resembles a 5, which would make this the first numbered entry in the series since Silent Hill The Room. And I like that theory better, but at the same time, throwing a number back into the series now will just pave the way for confusion. It's like with Final Fantasy 3, no one really knew what to call it. And I just don't see Hideo Kojima making that kind of a mistake. I don't think that that's right. Now, the third one I heard, which I personally think is the best one, is that Silent Hill is gonna take place in a multiple dimensions. Now, this is nothing new. We've all seen it before. It's the good Silent Hill, the bad Silent Hill, and Rust World. But they're taking it to a completely different level. They're going way more into it. The whole different dimension thing is really gonna be like a big thing in the upcoming Silent Hill games. And that's why it's Silent Hills. And it will be kind of like the trailer, where you go into what seems to be the same place, but with slight differences, and you have to interact to progress. Now, this game is seemingly being made for the PlayStation 4 with a Fox engine, and that is interesting, and I'll tell you why. The Fox engine makes a game real easy to put on multiple platforms, and we have been seeing the game moving away from being PlayStation exclusive, with coming on the Wii and the Xbox and even the mobile phones. And also, a while ago, PlayStation sent out some information, and they were listing their upcoming games, and Silent Hill was not marked as PlayStation exclusive. That's pretty telling. The other thing about the Fox engine is that it's made for making open world games. And an open world Silent Hill, now that would be new. We have had Heavy Rain with the side quests, but it wasn't truly open world. The big debate now is, will Silent Hill be multi-platform? And Maybe, maybe not. But it does look suspicious, doesn't it? But there is another aspect to this. There might be a completely different reason why Kojima is so secretive about the platform. If you look at the PT trailer, it's in first person. Now there is a rumor flying around that the reason that Konami doesn't want to talk about the platform thing is because the game is not going to be PlayStation 4 exclusive, but it's going to be a Project Morpheus launch title. What is Project Morpheus, you say? Well, Project Morpheus is Sony's codename for their new VR headset, their Oculus Rift, if you may. And that would explain why they are being so quiet about the release date. They need the VR headset to be finished as well. So they're waiting for 2 release dates, Project Morpheus and Silent Hills. And if that's the case, if Silent Hill is coming to the VR, that would explain that thing that the fetus says at the end, wouldn't it? I'm coming back and I'm bringing my new toys with me. Well, bring a creepy talking fetus in the bathroom? I can take it. But Kojima said that nothing is decided yet, and that development is still cycling between being in first person or third person, or even having the player being able to choose which perspective they want. And he said that the reason is that he's not gonna let his game be ruined by something as stupid as motion sickness. Now, Silent Hill is being made by Kojima Productions, and they have made a few games in the past, something called Metal Gear, I don't know. But the important thing is that Kojima Productions is spearheaded by Hideo Kojima. And if you don't know who that is, then where have you been? He's like the most influential game developer, director / everything in our time. Being involved in stuff like Super Smash Bros, Castlevania, and a few of those Metal Gear games, but only 30 of them or so. The other guy, Guillermo del Toro, he's a famous horror movie director. He's made stuff like Pan's Labyrinth, The Orphanage, and also this Archie movie series about little people going after some dragon's treasure. But I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, his greatest strength is atmosphere, and what makes a horror survival game great? Atmosphere. Now, depuis the Resistance, Norman Reedus. Now, even though Norman Reedus has been known for a while with roles in both TV and television, his big break is undoubtedly his role as redneck heartthrob Daryl Dixon on AMC's The Walking Dead. Now, you might think, and understandably so, that Norman has been cast to join a bigger crowd to the Silent Hill franchise. But you gotta remember that his character, though being the most popular and awesome person on the show, has a fan base that is mostly girls. Not what you typically think of as your target audience when you're making a game. Could this casting choice, though brilliant either way, be a result of Reedus and Del Toro working together on multiple projects in the past? I think so. Now, some are saying that casting Norman Reedus in the lead goes against it being a first-person game, because why would you cast a big actor and make such a big deal about it if you weren't going to show him for the game? But you gotta remember that Daryl just had his own game, starring Norman Reedus, where it was entirely in first person. I'm talking, of course, about Walking Dead Survival Instinct, and you didn't see him at all, and it worked. So, you know, might be that. It does look like the new Silent Hill game won't be coming out until 2016. I've heard October, which would, you know, line it up nicely with the Halloween season, and also give them plenty of time to work out all the kinks. I've also heard December 2015, but I do not find this as plausible because they're talking late December, and if they just push it, you know, a little bit, they can make that Christmas season, and I don't see why they wouldn't be shooting for that if it was possible. Another rumor that's flying around is that Kojima has been watching a lot of TV shows and how they pace the seasons, and that indicates that Silent Hill might be chopped up in episodes, kind of like Walking Dead game was. Now, if that's true, I'm worried that that will hurt the overall narrative, because I like my stories to be slow and deep and rich, and cutting it into episodes like that might, you know, take away from the tension. Now, Hideo Kojima has said that he initially wanted to make a game so scary that you would pee your pants. And then he thought about the dangers of making a game too scary. Like it's not like a scary movie where you can look away until it's not so scary anymore. If you can't watch it, you can't finish it. And that, of course, made me think of White Day Labyrinth Call School, where the developers had a lot of emails sent to them, people complaining that they couldn't finish the game because they were too scary. They got so many complaints that they actually patched the game to be less scary at the lower difficulties. So the story goes that they sat down, talked to Del Toro, and they decided to make a game that will make you shit your pants. So they ramped up the scary factor. And Kojima says that if people can't finish it, he doesn't worry about that. And worst comes to worst, he'll make sure that the special edition of Silent Hill come included with a pair of pants. Oh, Kojima, you kidder. Actually, that would be pretty awesome. I would buy that. When I say in depth, I mean in depth. It's like the Titanic, like every minute detail, from the color of the roaches, to the Swedish guy on the radio, to the raindrops on the glass. It will be so in depth. We are gonna dig right through the middle and come out in China. It's gonna be so ridiculously detailed that you would think that I was insane. Insane! And you know, I am insane, but let's just keep that between us.